Hello, this is World University and Schools News live stream question and answer on Monday, January 13th, July 13th, 2020. And I'm Scott McLeod, and hoping to share with you today, besides information about home robotics, World University and School home Lego robotics, and in particular with the Scratch visual programming language that works with Lego robotics. I'm seeking to share with you about open edX potentials, and in particular, because open edX potentially has an approach to collaborating with other organizations as a separate entity from edX itself. Open edX may be able to help facilitate World University and School adding courses to the Open edX platform, or creating courses on the Open edX platform. This is great and a long time in coming. And last Thursday, I think, the Open edX monthly community meeting, which was a presentation about a recent development in Open edX, a recent set of courses in Open edX, said that Open edX had improved its software significantly with developments over the past 18 months. So potentially Open edX will be something that World University and School itself can become a developer in, and potentially also a partner with. This is exciting. I've also heard from Sri Lanka World University and School that Open edX is pretty interoperable with G Suite for Education, Google Education, which is also great because World University and School is in Google for Education, G Suite for Education. So that's the first item of news I wanted to share with you. The second item is more brainstorming in nature. And there's an upcoming National Academy of Sciences competition that WUS probably will not enter, but which asks, what will education look like in the year 2040 compared with today, the year 2020, in just 1 to 2 minutes? So I'd just like to riff a little bit with that with regard to World University and Schools plans and thinking in these regards. And namely that World University and School seeks to create major online universities in all 200 countries, official and main languages, and Wiki schools in 7,117 known living languages, and that these might be fully realized in 20 years, by the year 2040. And in the 2030s, I'll speculate, brainstorming wise, that we'll have one, gone to Mars with astronauts and back to Earth, and potentially successfully. And that in this process of going to Mars and back with people in the 2030s, we'll also map the universe and begin to model the galaxies in a realistic virtual universe, thinking Google Street View with Time Slider, Google Maps, Google Earth, Google Oceans, TensorFlow, Translate, brainstorming wise. with avatars and integrating all the simulations on people's different hard drives and supercomputers on the Earth presently of various aspects of the universe into one single universe. And the second thing I'll speculate about in the 2030s, which will inform education too, and how education will look like in 2040, is that we'll have successfully mapped and modeled in this realistic virtual Earth life processes, genetic processes, the genomes of a myriad of species with their body minds virtually represented, virtually interactive in a single realistic virtual Earth for evolutionary biology, with reproduction and mutation, for example, all in one realistic virtual Earth. Think Google Street View with avatar bots for all kinds of species. And this will be at the cellular and molecular or atomic levels as well. And it will inform how aging reversal research develops. So aging reversal is something that the MIT and Harvard professor George Church in particular is a leading voice for. And that in this single realistic virtual Earth for evolutionary biology and aging reversal at the cellular and atomic levels, will have made significant strides in the 2030s on aging reversal. And that'll push out the horizon for education, possibly for the living, for centuries beyond in a brand new way. And the third thing I'd like to suggest in the 2030s that will have occurred influencing education is that this realistic virtual Earth universe, galaxies, single realistic virtual Earth at the street view, cellular, and atomic levels. And for even things like designing computer chips and robotics and architecture and a single realistic virtual Earth for history and for anthropology, ethno-wiki virtual world graphy as a new social science method, will be much more fully realized. So 10-person group video, something like Zoom video or Google Hangouts 10-person video, 10 people speaking together from different locations in real time together, will potentially be able to move into this kind of classroom and STEM field sites of a single realistic virtual Earth. So these are the three aspects. We'll have been to Mars and back with a peopled voyage, successfully mapping the universe significantly further. We'll be working on aging reversal successfully in a single realistic virtual Earth at the cellular and molecular levels genetically, and have modeled various kinds of experimental animals, mice and primates and humans and dogs and dolphins, and we'll be able to do clinical research on these virtual organisms. And as a whole, we'll have created a realistic virtual universe into which we can engage classroom-wise and further STEM field site for research-wise. And in this with these new developments in 2040, I think the familiar processes of university education, college education, of conversation or discourse in two ways, both in a kind of seminar approach, conference method, around the table, people talking with each other, almost riffing, jamming wise, conceptually, around ideas, serious ideas, in all of the main academic disciplines today, will carry on. So one mode is conference method seminar in 2040 that will carry on in new ways with digital technologies. And that the familiar aspect of talks, also lectures, will carry on. You might conceive these as rock performances, solo performances. So professors giving a 50-minute talk at MIT or Harvard or Cambridge or Stanford, and 100, 200 people, possibly in a hall, all listening to these professors rocking out, talking about their knowledge, about their discipline, about their research. And the other thing that I think could well happen in 2040, in both these regards, seminar and lecture, these rock musical metaphors, is that some of the interlocutors, some of the conversants in these educational knowledge generation conversations will be avatar bots, will be artificial intelligence, will have machine learning, will be chat bots 20 years later, so impossible to distinguish from humans Turing test wise. And these will, in some cases, in many cases, become our teachers. And so education will, and these avatar bots, these professor artificial intelligence entities will do research as well that will engage a computing-based realistic virtual Earth with AI, TensorFlow, for example, and machine learning. And humans will engage them as they will. Humans will continue to go to all kinds of universities on the ground, but also go to universities online at World University and School, for example, in all 200 countries' official and main languages. So the University of Tokyo will continue on the ground, and potentially a Japan World University and School in Japanese will also graduate students in 2040. There will be communication and interaction, just as the University of Tokyo, with its Japanese language focus, today probably communicates with Tsinghua, Tsinghua University in China, a great university there, and with Harvard University and Stanford, for example. So the communication between great universities, whether it be through scientific publications on paper or digital paper, or through faculty conferences and talks, will continue both on the ground and virtually. And this will be a significant feature in the 2020s, 2040s, 2040. as well. So that's a little bit of brainstorming about what education will be like in the year 2040. I would, in the remaining few minutes, move on to item 3, and namely that we've begun to develop new matriculation forms, student registration forms in Google Docs for our undergraduate matriculating class this autumn 2020. And we need to update the logos on these forms for World University and School. And thanks to Peter Bote, who created these logos, and Mohammed Rifai in Sri Lanka, who is further developing these matriculation forms, we'll seek to update the logo for the World University and School wing, these upcoming Google Doc forms for students simply to sign in, almost like signing in to an edX course, as easy as that is currently. But we also need to update the logos on the WUaS Press side, our other wing, our parallel wing. Both are legal entities. World University and School is one legal entity. The WUaS Press is another separate legal entity. And that brings me to item number 4. So on the WUaS Press side, the WUaS Corporation side, the newly growing WUaS Educational Services store is now officially carrying Lego Robotics. This is amazing and great for World University and School, and a big step. 3 kits: the We Do 2.0 Lego Robotics kit, the new Spike Prime Lego Robotics kit, and the Mindstorms EV3 Lego Robotics kit, which may, in October of 2020, this year, be updated to something like Mindstorms Robot Inventor. And on the World University and School Academic Press page, which is currently the Educational Services Store page 2, there's these 3 Lego Robotics kits are listed. worlduniversityandSchool.org/academicpress.html is the URL. And there's also a link there that says non-US students have to go to this Lego website and look up their country and find distributors for Lego Robotics in their countries. If there isn't a distributor in their country, they have to find a nearby distributor. So the WUaS Educational Services store cannot sell Lego Robotics to our matriculating Sri Lanka World University and School students, first in English, this autumn, at this time. And Sri Lanka World University and School will likely have to, the students there will likely have to order their Lego Robotics kits from Chennai, India, because that's one of the 3 distributors in India on the Lego Robotics list that says that where individuals in a country can get Lego Robotics kits from in their own country. perhaps World University and perhaps the WUaS Educational Services Store will be able to become an established STEM reseller soon. And possibly if we can get 1,000 matriculating Sri Lanka World University and School students this autumn who would be doing WUaS home robotics in their own homes, spread out across Sri Lanka, perhaps we can find our way, if we become an established STEM reseller, to exploring making these available in Sri Lanka as well. To be seen, this is unfolding. But at the current time, just 6 weeks from now, Sri Lankan students, if they matriculate with these new Google Docs forms at World University and School for a free to students, best STEM, Creative Commons 4 open courseware bachelor's degree lasting 4 years in English, studying from their homes this autumn 2020, September 1st, 2020, Sri Lankan students will at this time have to get their Lego robotics kits from probably Chennai, India. So World University and School is, to wrap up here, seeking to develop online courses newly in Open edX, which has been improved significantly software-wise over the past 18 months, and even add something like the MIT OpenCourseware Lego Robotics supplemental education or experimental education course adapted as a course into an Open edX course structure or format this autumn. And this, because of the CC4 licensing of MIT OpenCourseware, which says organizations can, 1, share CC4 licensed material, 2, adapt CC4 licensed material, but 3, non-commercially, so World University and School can't ask for tuition. World University and School is seeking to adapt such an experimental OpenCourseware into a course format in Open edX that would allow Sri Lankan students, for example, or students in Germany, or students in Japan, or students in Nigeria, to get Lego robotics kits, perhaps just starting with Lego We Do 2.0 and a course in Open edX for this, that would also combine with the Scratch visual programming language, because Lego robotics works with this visual programming language out of the MIT Media Lab, out of the Harvard Graduate School for Education. So this is the goal, just 6 weeks out from now, hoping to matriculate, if we can, 500 to 2,000 students who will study for 4 years from their homes, spread out in all 200 countries in English for free to students bachelor's degrees, probably taking Open edX-like courses, which are more structured for licensing, for example, and for accreditation, for example, newly on the web, thanks in part to the coronavirus pandemic, which has jettisoned so many universities' courses onto the web in the past 3 months. World University and School seeks to offer open edX courses with something like emerging from open courseware, such as this Lego Robotics experimental open courseware that's CC4 licensed. So that's World University and Schools news today. One, open edX potentials for courses at World University and School. Two, riffing with what education will look like in 2040 compared with today in longer than 1 or 2 minutes. Three, the matriculating students forms at World University and School are developing. We'll update our logos. I want to add something to this. And four, WUaS Home Robotics with Lego Robotics, and for example, for Sri Lankan World University and School students are also developing. And hopefully the Sri Lankan World University students and school students will be able to get the Lego Robotics kits from India, for example, in just 6 weeks soon. The one addition I'd like to make before closing, and it's an important one for World University and School in some ways, is that with matriculating students forms, for example, for matriculating students this autumn, but also more generally, an overarching list of students and even Wiki Universitians, World University and School is exploring the idea of universal basic income experiments out of a single list of Wiki Universitians, so students in all 200 countries, official and main languages, speakers of all 7,117 known living languages, as Wiki teachers and learners. And brainstorming-wise, planning to code in this Wiki Universitian list for all 7.5 billion people, seeking to develop universal basic income experiments, and in particular for distribution of a single cryptocurrency, one digital currency with blockchain ledger, that might even engage the edX money transfer mechanism, backed by most of 200 countries' central banks. If the euro is any example, in 19 out of 28 countries, countries like Switzerland and Sweden and Denmark and Britain are not in the Eurozone. So they're part of the 28 countries, but they're not part of the 19 countries that, as I understand this, that share this common currency called the euro. So some countries won't, potentially have their central banks back a single cryptocurrency like post-euro or post-US dollar. But if most of the 200 countries in the world can their central banks can back a single cryptocurrency, there's the possibility that in this single list of Wiki Universitians planning for 7.5 billion people, that we might be able to alleviate poverty with these UBI experiments for all 7.5 billion people, the universal part of universal basic income experiments. So that's another news item that relates to matriculating students' forms as World University and School proceeds, hoping to get these open edX courses and these forms and these information technologies all up and running by September 1 to matriculate our second undergraduate bachelor's degree class for free to students degrees. If you have further questions, if you want to join this live stream in conversation, Mondays at 10 a.m., please email info@worlduniversityandschool.org, on Twitter, twitter.com/WUaS WORLD-UNIVANDSCH. On YouTube, youtube.com/WORLD-UNIVANDSCH. From there, click on WS Livestream and add at the end of that the /LIVE to get to these live Monday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, WS News live streams, question and answer. Please join the conversation and have a great week. The next WS News live stream will potentially happen on Monday, July 20th, 7 days from now. I'm Scott McLeod. info@worlduniversityandschool.org is the website, is the email address. worlduniversityandschool.org is the website. And worlduniversityandschool.org/academicpress.html is the WS Educational Services store, where you can get Lego Robotics kits yourself for home exploration. So check it out. There are also some books there, hoping to carry more STEM educational products and resources soon at the WS Educational Services store. And until next week.